Hey, howdy, and a big welcome back to Clemhawks, folks. I'm Yak, ready to take you through today's edition of MLB Trade Rumors here on the channel. And guys, you know what? John Heyman of the New York Post MLB Network just released another trade rumor update, linking some players, some places we necessarily haven't seen them going. But one link that remains strong is that link amid Yuli Gurriel's struggles in Houston of getting Josh Bell over to the Houston Astros to bolster them for a World Series run. Folks, if you're new to the channel, before we talk about this too much, what I want you to do is take the next 5, 10, whatever it takes me to get through this video to consider subscribing to the channel here. The boys will have you covered for everything breaking as we go along the rest of the weekend into Tuesday. So make sure to stay tuned here on Clemhawks for all your MLB, all your NHL rumor stuff you need to know. And with that, let's get into it. So John Heyman, like I mentioned, put out the article talking about the Bell to the Astros link once again, because Josh Bell is kind of the hottest first baseman on the market, I guess you could say right now, especially if the Houston Astros are interested in going out and acquiring them. And of course, when you've got a whole bunch of good caliber starting pitchers to potentially have out there on the market, to have Josh Bell, a team that needs a first baseman, not necessarily needs a first baseman, because Yuli Gurriel is still a very good first baseman for the Houston Astros. However, he's having a down year offensively, only 7 home runs, 27 RBIs, and that's fine. Like we saw with Andrew Benintendi, if you're batting in the 320s, it makes up for itself rather quickly. However, if you're batting 238 and providing those offensive numbers, you're not really adding much of winning value to your ball team. And that's why, as we see now, Josh Bell is linked to the Houston Astros. Obviously, not the only name from the Washington Nationals linked to the Astros or anyone else in baseball, but as it currently stands, Josh Bell to the Houston Astros would be a pretty easy to understand move, just based on the fact that right now the Astros aren't getting what they want out of Yuli Gurriel. So yeah, you know what? Fair enough. Go out there and acquire someone else who can be of use for you right now too. So that's where they're sitting right now, is trying to figure out what's going on there with where they get kind of production from their guys. And for the Houston Astros too, right? You just had Yordan Alvarez injured, Lance McCullers sent down. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on with the Astros right now going into this trade deadline. So why not try and just bolster that roster, right? This Houston Astros team, you know they're gunning to at least face the Yankees in the ALCS this season. So why not try to go out there and get as good as you can at the deadline, have one last hurrah at it, and try and see if you can't go out there and win yourself a round or two, or get into the World Series for yet another year against a team that maybe from the NL isn't as equipped, or maybe is as equipped as you, and you can have a really good World Series between the Astros and somebody on the other side. So that's just it, right? Is every team right now is looking to go out there and build themselves up. However, as it currently stands for every team, the prices are high, and what you expect from that player is also high, and that's the tough part right now. Is you don't want to give up too much in case you get disappointment. You don't want to give up too much because you don't want to bankrupt the farm system. You don't want to give up too much because you want to hold on to as many assets as possible until Tuesday to try and make as many moves as possible to try and bolster yourself as much as possible, because you would be kidding yourself if you don't think the Houston Astros wouldn't be the kind of team to go out and acquire Josh Bell and also try and acquire a starting pitcher that's going to give them a chance to go out there and win as many ball games as possible down the stretch, right? And that's the beauty of it. If you can add one key position player and one key starting pitcher down the stretch for a division leading team, that usually bodes well going into the postseason and makes for some memorable moments down the stretch. So folks, that's what I see the Houston Astros doing here, is just trying to bolster that roster And it's not like they're giving up Yuli Gurriel either. They'll still have him around and he'll still be serviceable, which is the big part because you think about DHs and stuff. Somebody gets injured, it just gives you that extra dynamic having two all-star caliber first basemen that can really go out there and get the job done. So folks, I'm Yak. This is Clemhawks. Like I said right off the top, if you want to head out and consider subscribing, that would be greatly appreciated as we get geared towards Tuesday and Clem back towards the monetization on YouTube. Folks, I am up on out of here.